In this video, we will review some of the advanced features and processing options in the DroneMapper software. Here we have a 462 image set with GCPs shown as a blue cross. Some of this imagery may not have many features or is very homogeneous. The first setting to fix or attempt to process data of that type is to switch the feature settings to high. What this does is scale each image to 1250 pixels instead of 500 pixels, which is the low setting. Clicking this will generate considerably more number of features and matches between images. The cost trade-off here is time. So processing roughly 2 times larger images for features is going to take longer to process. If you navigate to the DroneMapper menu, you'll see a few options. First, we'll talk about the sensors. This is a sensor database for each camera. In most cases, this isn't needed, but if the software prompts you to enter your camera settings, you'll do it from this menu. What this does is allow the software to understand the CCD size in width and height in millimeters. So as you can see, the camera is automatically identified here, and if we were experiencing trouble, we would go ahead and input the width and height in millimeters and add that camera to the sensor database. The sensor database is static, so once you add something to it, it's stored there for the life of the software. Under the DroneMapper menu and settings menu, we have quite a few different options, and these are here to help you process and work with hard to stitch or process data or different types of data. So the first one is process stereo pairs. And what this is used for is it's an option that allows you to build a DEM and a point cloud from every single image pair in high resolution. So you would use this if you have slightly oblique imagery or a combination of oblique and nadir imagery. An example of a camera using this would be the Waldo Air camera. In a previous video, we talked about the 3D model text mesh generation option. This can be used for nadir and oblique imagery as well. It will generate a point cloud, a DEM, and attempt to generate an ortho mosaic if nadir imagery exists. This option creates textured mesh and was shown in the Red Rocks example. Compute 2x native resolution DEM. This builds the digital elevation model at 2 times the native collection GSD. You really don't need to compute a DEM much further than that, but we do allow that option, which is the compute native resolution DEM. This option takes a long time, and depending on your hardware, generate an ASCII point cloud with color. That's enabled by default. Here we're going to start to talk about some of the options that can help you process very hard to stitch or imagery that doesn't have a lot of features. The first option here is histogram matching extreme feature generator. This will perform a histogram equalization on each image before tie points are generated. This can help contrast and dark images, and also pull out features in images that are very homogeneous. You can override the image scale with this next option. Here you have the choice to use full resolution, half resolution, or multi-scale. Of course, full resolution and half resolution images are going to take a lot longer, depending on your hardware, but they can help you get success with late season crop canopy, low elevation flights, and just general homogeneous terrain. The multi-scale option is similar to how PhotoScan does things, where we will try tie points at, let's say, 500 pixels, and then we will also try them at 1,000 pixels, and we will combine those two sets of tie points. Multi-scale does take a little bit longer, but it's worth the time cost, especially for hard-to-stitch imagery. GCP to image relation distance. This slider is used in the GCP menu and GCP tool to associate images and build an image list that are X amount of meters away from a GCP. So this helps you quickly filter out images that may not have GCPs in them. You can slide this, all the way up to 5,000 meters. I wouldn't recommend that unless you're doing a very large area collection with a camera like an Ultracam. Generally, you can figure out your frame size and image size on the ground and use this slider to pull in more GCP images. The seamline feathering and ortho processing is still in beta. This generates an ortho mosaic using as many CPUs or cores as possible and attempts to radiometrically balance and feather the seam lines. The option to compute initial tie points by distance. This can be used when you need to force image pairs by a distance. So currently the default is tie points and image pairs are generated automatically. You can enable this option to set a distance between images and their neighbors. This can help with hard-to-stitch imagery, and also imagery like late season canopy, where there's lots of tie points but not a lot of matches, and you might have erroneous matches. Using RTK PPK quality EXIF, you can check this box if you have a UAV platform such as the Phantom 4 RTK or any other platform that uses RTK or PPK quality tags. Enabling this will process the digital elevation model and ortho mosaic within centimeters of real life without ground control points. We offer 3 alternate tie point detectors: AKs, Brisk, and SIFT. SIFT is now available as the patent has expired. These can also be used to generate features and matches in different types of frames and scenes. If you're using near imagery or red-green near, you can compute an NDVI using this option. We give an option of computing a hillshade DSM. Compute undistorted images will generate image orientations and undistorted images and their omega phi kappa values for use in other software. And the use maxflow min-cut dem algorithm is new, and it can be used to generate a better dem in areas that are very complex, such as a building roof or a mining complex. This is slower and sometimes can generate more noise, but also can compute a much better dem. Once you've set those options or decided what works best for you, you can proceed with processing. On the digital elevation model step, Dense is turned off. That means by default, the digital elevation model will be 8 times the native resolution. If you enable this toggle switch, your digital elevation model will be 4 times native resolution, unless you override it with the settings in the settings menu. For ortho, mosaic, and mesh, we've turned on the blending and radiometric equalization. This takes a bit longer, but it's worth the cost. Overnight mode allows you to click this box, set all your options, and hit go or play on the first step. The software will attempt to run through all steps without any user intervention.